I've heard. Wait, what is that? I've
Do
heard that.
do 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 do.
Do do
Okay, is it
do do
Close
do do
Encounters of
do
the Third Kind?
do.
What is that fucking song? Someone's got to know. We're enlisting you,
Do
the
do
viewers.
do 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 do. Where I've heard this. It's at the beginning of. I've seen the movie. It's at the beginning of a film. It plays, and then the
Yeah, it was
film
called
starts.
Masters of the Universe.
No, that's not it. It's at the
Okay.
beginning of a video game when you boot up the console.
Yeah, when you do the PlayStation 1, no, the game, yeah, the GameCube. Do 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 do. And then it shows a little like do do. Yeah.
No, that's not it though.
No, it's not it.
Do 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 do. This is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life.
Da 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 da.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
At the far end of the universe, there is a planet ruled by a being of utter evil. And there is only one man who dares challenge him. They are locked in a battle to the death. A battle that will take them across the heavens.
Stop him!
A battle that will finally be fought
I want them hunted down and brought to me!
across the face
Police! Nobody move!
of Earth.
Welcome to Rough Cuts. Boyks, who's the dog?
There are 3 dogs, and we discussed them in detail.
Okay, did you? Let me just hold up. Okay, all right. I actually have a thing that we need to do. This is going to be great podcast material. Everybody's going to understand this when they're listening to this. I think that you should write down your 3 characters that you think are dogs, and I'll write down the 3 characters that I think are dogs, and we'll show each other.
I already wrote down my 3 characters.
Okay, well,
I'm waiting on you. You're taking forever.
I'll write the ones that I think are dogs. I have them in my head. I know which ones are dogs.
They are dogs. It'll be backwards. Okay. I don't know how to rotate my.
Hold up. I'm not showing it yet. All right. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Beastman, Card, Gwildor.
Yeah, no, those are the 3 dogs. Yes.
Everybody that saw, everybody you saw all that, you've got it verified. We all conclusively recognized, as experts on dogs, what dogs were in this movie. Yeah. We knew. See, there's no mistake. People are going to be like, there's no fucking dogs in this. Then how did we both know what the dogs were?
Which dogs they were, yeah.
How did we both know that there were 3 dogs and which ones they were? We know what dogs are. You all are fucking wrong. You don't understand dogs like we understand dogs.
As it turns out, as professional dog raiders, you need to know what a dog is.
We need to know what a dog is, and we have fucking cracked the code. We know exactly what dogs are.
God, there's some good dogs. You know what else is good in this movie? Oh, God, there's a lot in this movie that's good, actually.
Honestly, a lot.
So, Master of the Universe is a canon film from the folks that brought you Bloodsport and Death Wish 1 through 4.
Yes, and, oh God,
and a whole bunch of other
over the top.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Just
Cobra.
Bunch of schlock.
Where Stallone eats pizza with scissors.
I think they did a Chuck Norris movie, like something USA.
A Chuck Norris movie?
The Chuck Norris movie.
They've done like 30 Chuck Norris movies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Cop Dog was a canon film.
They did Invasion. Invasion USA was the one I was thinking of, though. Yeah, they didn't do Cop Dog.
No, not Cop Dog. Sorry, not Cop Dog, but a dog that's about a cop called Top Dog.
There are so many movies with dogs that are cops that are not cop dogs, and Cop Dog is one of those.
Cop Dog is not a cop.
It is not a Cop Dog movie. Yeah.
Very clear.
Oh my god. Okay, so Master of the Universe, the He-Man movie. Mm-hmm. He-Man. Everybody loves He-Man. He-Man is something that is very aged out. Look, if you were below the age of 30, let me explain to you what He-Man was real quick. Because we've aged out a group of people that know what He-Man is at this point.
I'm gonna be honest. Well, you never watched the cartoon.
I never watched the cartoon, but I watched the reboot of He-Man that they did like in the mid 2000s.
I've never seen any He-Man.
Yeah,
like
He-Man. He-Man is your weekly adventure show, 30-minute cartoon in cyber sword and sorcery desert past with like weird monster men and everything. And then He-Man has a sword from Castle Grayskull. He lifts up the sword and says, "I have the power!" And then he turns from a gay twink into a mostly naked, ripped gay twink.
I was gonna say, I was like, well, hold up. I don't understand what you're saying because he turns shredded. God, so the thing that I know about He-Man is, and the stuff that I love from He-Man is all the commercials and stuff. I've watched a lot of the commercials and things for He-Man toys. I never watched the actual cartoon. I never had any of the toys, man. But I've always been enraptured by like the stories as to how He-Man was made and like what it was about, because
it's very funny. It's very funny because it's just some asshole who's behind a toy line. And he's trying to sell these action figures, and he's like, "Oh, we have a battle cat," which they painted from old toys to make it look like a new toy. And
exactly.
And during the sales pitch, he told them that they had a cartoon, they had an animation for the toys to sell them, but they didn't.
No, exactly. Yeah. Like that's kind of what I mean. Is that like the cool story about it is that it's not just like he had toys to sell.
Yeah.
He had discarded garbage toys that they had failed to sell with a bunch of other toy lines. Yes. And so he's like, okay, we have like 500,000 tigers. What the fuck do we do with it? Okay, paint them purple, and now he rides it.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing.
Go, boom.
The guy that did that, he's like, "Fine, I'll paint it purple. Your idea's fucking stupid. I'll show you." Mm-hmm. And he did it, and he brought it in. He's like, "Look how fucking awful this looks." And the guy's like, "That's great."
Yeah, look at this. It looks like shit. It's so big that he would have to ride it. And he's like, perfect.
It doesn't even fit. Oh my god. They're not even the same size. Look at this. There's no scale. He rides it then. Put a fucking saddle on it and sell that shit.
Yeah, He-Man is the pure distillation of what you spray paint on your 70s van, right? Yeah. Like it is that distilled into a cartoon, because it's all like wizards on a planet with two suns and like a barbarian holding up a sword and like a blaster in the other hand. It's that shit. It's 1,000% what you just like spray paint onto your van. That's He-Man. It rules. And this movie it feels like, from what I understand of He-Man, like it really veers away from what a lot of the like cartoon is.
He-Man never went to Earth.
Yeah, they go to Earth, which is weird. Like, but it also just feels like a weird spin-off almost of it, of like what the show would have normally been about. But at the same time, it's fucking engrossing in some great ways.
Yeah.
The best parallel I can think of for this movie is Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close, yeah.
It feels very Street Fighter, just in the way that, like, you have a main lead actor who cannot fucking act. Holy shit. Dolph Lundgren is unbelievably bad at this. It has one expression if he even has an expression at all.
So he was really good in Rocky IV as Ivan Drago, specifically because he was Russian man with no emotions who says, "I will break you."
And you thought that was acting, and it turns out...
Yes. No, he just has no emotions, and he doesn't know how to act. Yeah.
What you have to do is you have to, like, wind up Dolph Lundgren before the scene. Like, and then he just kind of, like, walks out.
We need you to show, like, concern for her, because she's been hurt, and she's scared. Oh my god. I will save you. Don't worry. Where are they? Like, there's no acting.
I have the power.
There's no acting. It's
Skeletor,
so good.
You will not beat me.
And it's Skeletor, in contrast to everyone else, though.
You.
Like, everyone else in the movie is just acting their ass off.
And that's what I mean. Like, so Dolph Lundgren is awful, but then the villain is, I mean, Skeletor. Most people probably know Skeletor, even if you're younger, because it's just memes. But oh my god, it's Frank Langella, and Frank Langella is a celebrated actor, and for good reason, because he fucking acts his heart out as Skeletor. Honestly, the way that I would describe Skeletor in this is Shakespearean.
Shakespeare, he's very stage.
Yes,
acting.
He does a very like he like huddles on his staff, delivering monologues like in these incredible ways, and it's so good. Like he vamps it so hard. It's like it feels like he's got the energy of like an old Dracula film, like throwing the cape across his face and like just like monologuing at the hero. It's so good. It's so good. It's cheesy as shit, but like exactly what you want.
He'll like at the beginning of the movie, he has Sorcerer inside of his strobe light of holding
of Doom. Yeah,
it's cheap strobe light they bought at the store of holding, and he's like, "Oh, how sensitive you are to the world. Well, can you feel this?" It's like the Emperor from Star Wars, just like, yes, feel the evil.
God, yeah. Like, this movie is very much if they took like a budget Star Wars and a budget Conan and then smashed them both together, and then suddenly you made them not budget, because this movie actually has a $22 million budget, which is almost as much as Predator and RoboCop together. Two other movies from the same year.
But like they spent it well, because all the props are good. Yeah. The matte paintings are good. All the costumes are great.
Yeah,
like,
there's
and
everything in
the sound effects of all their technology is great. It just goes beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop, and then a guy will turn around and be like, "I'm working." Beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop.
The fucking cyber sword shit, like. He to activate He-Man's sword at one point, he like shoves it into a cyber scabbard on the throne that like
cyber scabbard
like crazy.
People.
It's just like a perfect distillation of really weird B sci-fi like fantasy stuff, right? Like it's Dragon Riders of Pern. It's the like Might and Magic series on video games. It's Krull. It's all of those kinds of things, right?
It's like Death Strike, like the board game with VHS. Like
it's guys that are shirtless barbarians in like big bustling armor running around with space blasters.
They should have done what they did with Death Strike and just hired Malibu from American Gladiators. That worked great. Like, come on. Oh man, like we're raving about this movie because we actually were having a really fun time. This movie's great.
I had a lot of fun with this movie. It fucks up some things. Like, this is far from a perfect movie. Yeah. But the thing is that when I said that it feels like a ripoff / smash together of like Star Wars and Conan, that's what a lot of reviewers and stuff said. I think that Roger Ebert and stuff were saying that, and they're like, "Oh, it's like a shameless ripoff of them," and I disagree, because the thing is that I would say about it is that it is a ripoff of that pastiche, but those are also like those are not terribly original things, anyways. Like that's just a lot of stuff was like that, and then on top of that, it has heart. Like, it feels like a bunch of people that were involved in this cared. Not Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren didn't give a shit.
Dolph didn't give a shit, but everyone else.
A bunch of the other actors really try hard to sell this movie. And, like, the costuming and models and matte paintings and all the special effects and stuff, like, go pretty fucking hard.
And the way they built that Japanese synthesizer.
The Japanese synthesizer is incredible. Boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. What the fuck is that from? I swear it can't just be from this, because neither of us have seen this.
We thought it was THX, like, welcome to THX, like the sound thing, but it's not.
I never thought it was that, because the THX is the but like it. Yeah. I felt it was something like that though, like a Dolby, or it feels like something
like a Dolby
intro
audio,
to a movie. And I don't know what. Like, I know what you meant when you said THX, and that it like It's absolutely a sound that I heard before a movie, like as a credit company, but I don't know what.
We're talking about, so there's a key, an interdimensional key, which looks like a gun that has keys on the side of it.
Okay, you say it looks like a gun. It looks like a gun in the way that it looks like a Samus Aran Mega Man gun, where you'd like stick your hand in it and then fire.
It has a handle. It's definitely a gun.
Oh, it does have a weird handle on the side. It's fucking wild.
But it's like,
cool.
It has these buttons on the side of it, and you press it and it plays like D flat or E sharp or something. So it is literally a synthesizer.
Yes, well, it's a music machine. I actually like.
They call it, yeah.
One thing that I really like about the design of it, because they constantly reference that, you make music on it basically, and then it takes you across the universe, is that when you're activating it, it's got all these little tines on it, like it looks like music forks.
Yeah,
I actually really like that because it feels like
tuning forks are in it that are making the sound. Yeah,
yeah, it works for being like this weird kind of musical key thing,
and apparently the entire universe is music and tones, and you create these tones with the synthesizer to open up portals to different areas, but you need to know the exact jingle. So if you just go bum 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 bum, you won't go to the Crazy Frog dimension. You'll go to fucking Eternia or whatever, you know?
Yeah. That honestly, if you play Axel F on this fucking thing, you're gonna go to the raddest place possible.
Like, Jesus.
You're gonna go to Eddie Murphy's Nightmares.
It's so good. Like, you'll go to the road that has the giant head from what's that movie that Eddie Murphy was in? Anyways, point being, it'll be a nightmare dimension.
It'll be a nightmare dimension. Hey, look, it's Nutty Professor. Everywhere.
The Nutty Professor dimension. Everyone in the universe is Eddie Murphy. Oh my god!
Norbit and Nutty Professor combined. Great. God, but this. So yeah, they have a cosmic key. And at the beginning, it shows that Skeletor has taken over Castle Grayskull.
Yep.
He's finally succeeded and thrown out He-Man, but He-Man has escaped, and so we're like coming in media res. He-Man and Man-at-Arms and Teela, who are apparently like his normal crew, find what is this? I mean, it's a dog. Okay, they find a dog. Gwildor. They find a dog named Gwildor.
Gwildor. Yeah, he's a dog.
They find the space dog Gwildor,
yeah,
who's made the cool cosmic space key, and that's how Skeletor got into their base, because he can just warp
he's
around.
Sort of like a water dog because he has gills.
Yes.
Yeah. But they find him. Some stormtroopers are carrying Gwildor away in a tiny net.
Yeah.
And Teela chooses violence and just shoots them all. And then she sees the dog in the tiny net. She's like, "I'll shoot him too." I chose violence.
Teela has. You say that Teela chooses violence, but I'm starting to think that Teela doesn't know anything but violence and doesn't have a choice in it at all. Because Teela has never made a decision that wasn't violence, which I love Teela for.
And then, so they save Gwildor. Gwildor's like, "Oh, thank you for saving me. Let me take you back to my house. It's 20 miles that way. I'll walk you over."
Sorry, no, excuse me, I have to interrupt this. No. It's 20 metrotons spin word.
Because the evil villain Jargon has infected the movie. But he's the inventor of the key, which is how Skeletor attacked Castle Grayskull and took them all by surprise.
Yes.
And Teela immediately chooses violence again, because that's the only thing she knows. She's like, "I'll fucking kill him, that little worm. You gave him the key.
You gave them the key. All right, fucking kill him. Instant kill." And I was like, he got tricked. Like, he's forced to do it. Don't do that. Yeah, but I must kill.
So he teleports them into the throne room of Castle Grayskull to try and save the sorcerer, right? Because that's after they get attacked.
He goes. No, they don't. They don't.
There's
teleport.
a passage.
They don't teleport, because this is incredible. This part was really fucking funny to me, because he's sitting there and they're like, "Oh, we need to secretly get back inside Castle Grayskull. Maybe we can use your key the same way you've used it before." And he goes, "No, you can't. Like, he'll be able to lock onto the signal because he knows about it. So instead he'll be able to use his key to come directly to us." And they go, "Oh, damn." And he goes, and then suddenly they're under siege because somebody followed them there, and they're like, "Oh no, we've got to escape." And he goes, "All right, well, take my secret passage to Castle Grayskull, exactly where you needed to teleport. And it's like,
But I just have.
wait, what? It's like, what? I'm sorry, excuse me, what? He's like, yeah, I just had this here the whole time. It's like, what the fuck didn't you say that 5 minutes ago? Dummy.
Oh my god.
So good.
So they drag him along, go to the castle, but Skeletor was waiting because he knew He-Man would do this.
Yes.
And and they start attacking them. And Gwildor is like beeping and booping on the key. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have this massive fight in the gunfire fight in the throne room, and Gwildor beeps and boops his way into a new dimension, which is, of course, Earth. Which we were very worried about when this was happening. I was extremely worried, and you even said it right when they first came out, is the portal is, they go into a forest, and we're like, did you know that it's free to film in the woods? Like, okay, so we've blown all of our budget on matte paintings and, like, big spectacle and models and stuff for the beginning where we've got all these wild, weird vehicles and green screen and shit. And now it's time to do something cheap on Earth where He-Man just wanders around New York City and is a fish out of water for 20 minutes.
Right.
Or, 20, an hour, and it's boring as shit. Doesn't do that. It doesn't do that at all. Thankfully.
Like, they could have done the Hercules in New York thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. But
it does do that a little bit, but like it doesn't get cheap, because the thing is that we were worried that it would do that and get cheap and boring, and it does that and gets wild and blow-uppy. It blows up everything. This movie is just non-stop explosions. It's a fucking cannon film through and through.
It's so many explosions. So, like, they come through the portal after using the grappling hook to take the key, because they have a grappling hook.
Yeah, they drop the key, and then, like, this weird grapple, like, they jump through the portal, and then all of us, and they're like, aha, well, we have the key, they're trapped there forever, and then suddenly this claw goes, like this grappling hook claw, and grabs the key, and then just goes back in.
And as they land, they're like, where have you taken us? I don't know, I just pressed buttons, and then we jumped to the portal. I don't know where the fuck we are. And Teela's like, I'll fucking kill you! I'll kill you!
Teela immediately goes back to violence, yes. We can just shortcut it to every single time that they meet anybody at all, or anybody says something. Teela just goes like, what the fuck did you say? I'll fucking kill you! Pulls out a gun, because that's basically Teela.
Yeah. And then interrupting Cow.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, yeah, there's the cow in this. Yes.
Moo.
So they
Moo.
Fuck. They sit there and they're like, wait, there's a life sign coming towards us. Oh my god, it's huge, this horrible creature. Moo.
Moo.
Moo. And then he tries to communicate with the cow. Gwildor, being the best boy, goes, like, I think I can communicate with it. Moo. 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 Moo.
They could have just not, like, this is a scene that didn't need to exist, but it's funny.
Really good.
It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're fish out of water. We have He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Teela, and of course, Gwildor at Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to a chicken joint.
They immediately find chicken and ribs.
And are hiding in the woods, and they're like, oh, chicken. And they're watching, like, Teela comes up on Man-at-Arms, and they're both almost shoot each other, because they're just always trigger happy.
Teela chose violence again and immediately goes to shoot Man-at-Arms. Yep.
And she's like pointing out the chicken place. She's like, look at that. And Man-at-Arms look at this couple kissing. He's like, I've been doing that ever since before you were born.
God, I forgot that line. Just for no reason. Like, why does he have to say that? They're like, oh, okay, thanks. I've been fucking since you were a kid. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm your father.
But we learned the deep lore that as they try to eat the chicken, they're like, wait, this came from an animal? But everybody on Eternia is vegetarian.
Yeah, she gets upset. They start eating. He's like, she goes, oh, like, what's this weird thing in it? And he's like, I think that's a rib bone. She goes, oh my god, these barbarians eat animals? How evil. They're terrible monsters. And they're all like, oh god, it's meat. Who would eat meat? And I'm like,
oh my god.
Okay, so canonically, all of the big beefy barbarians that run around the Masters of the Universe dimension are all
like
farmers. They all
He-Man goes home and eats a salad.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. You
Yeah.
also missed that Gwilder is the one that like he uses his claw to steal the chicken and stuff, and he immediately grabs like a big thing of sauce and just pours it down his fucking face. And like when I say it, I mean like he's obviously a big rubber mask like kind of thing. It's this it's hard to explain this. Really jowly. There's like gills. It's supposed to be on the outside.
It looks like a Star Trek costume or something. Like
or like
an
Star
alien.
Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yeah,
really good like rubber mask alien. But it dribbles it down like the whole mask. Like it soaks this whole beard and stuff that he's got going on. It's incredible. He just pours a gallon of sauce all down his fucking face. It's just like, okay, sure, yeah.
And simultaneously are two human characters that are our main characters, Julia and what was the guy's name?
Kevin.
Julia and Kevin are walking around a cemetery talking about Julia's dead parents. They're so dead. I can't believe they're dead.
God,
my god.
Did you know that your parents have been really dead? Remember that plane crash where they died?
Yeah.
Where they died horribly in that plane crash?
Remember how you told them not to go and then they died?
Yeah.
And then they find this key like in a crater in the cemetery. It's like, whoa, a synthesizer from Japan.
I've seen
like
these.
My Japanese
from
anime.
Japan. Well, and at first she's like, oh, somebody must have dropped it. And he's like, look, it's in a crater. It obviously came from space.
Like,
and that means that it's a synthesizer from Japan.
And then he's like, listen to these sick beats. And he starts playing Axel F on it. You're like, oh shit.
Oh my god, I gotta use this for my band. I actually really like Kevin's outfit too. He's got a really punk rock look going. He actually looks, it's a good look for in the 80s. He's got like a plaid shirt and a tie and like leather jacket and stuff. He's kind of great.
It's like half business in the front, action everywhere else. Yeah.
It's funny. Kevin to me ends up being almost more of the lead hero than Dolph Lundgren.
He's kind of like a Han Solo of this movie.
A little bit. And he does a good job. I liked him. I liked his character. I thought he did a good job. He
does more than Dolph. Fucking Dolph.
Yeah, like I found him interesting. Like at first I was like, oh god, like they're gonna bring like human people into it, and like, oh, this girl is gonna get rescued by He-Man, then she's gonna fall for He-Man, and Kevin's gonna be like this whiny loser that follows them. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be that boring shit. It doesn't do that at all.
But he's not.
It doesn't do it. It doesn't. No. She doesn't. I was positive, like 1,000% certain that she was going to be Dolph Lundgren's like girlfriend kind of thing. He was
love interest or some bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't do it at all. They don't do it. I was stunned. It was
like she doesn't even swoon once.
No, not in the slightest. Yeah, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
But so he finds this Japanese synthesizer, and then he goes down to the local. They go to the senior center.
The senior center.
Where he's playing a concert later, and he's like hooking it up to all of his keyboards and stuff to be like, man, what cool tones can I get off of this? Which is honestly perfect. Like that is exactly what a musician is like. They're like instantly like, holy shit, how can I integrate this? This thing sounds fucking rad.
He like plugs it into his amp.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, like I need to find like some connectors for this or something. I got to go and take it to the music store. And she's like, oh, I'll just wait here. And he's like, all right, I'll be back in 15 minutes. And he runs out down to the music store.
Yeah.
At the same time.
And then, our 4 bounty hunters are being recruited by Skeletor.
Sorry, you said 4 bounty hunters? I think you mean 2 bounty hunters and 2 dogs.
And 2 dogs.
Very good boys.
2 bounty hunters and 2 dogs are being recruited by Skeletor to go find the key on this weird planet that they've been sent to, because our unknowing human, Kevin, turned on that really cool synthesizer, and now they can track him.
Mm-hmm.
So he recruits Fetish Daddy with 2 swords.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Reptile from Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Beastman, who is basically a werewolf / good boy.
Not basically.
Yeah, he's just a
1000% that.
werewolf. And then Karg, who has a fantastic mane and is a very loyal dog.
Yes. Yeah. Karg the space dog.
Yeah.
They jump into our dimension and they immediately beat the ever-loving shit out of a janitor.
Yeah, they just beat the fuck out of this janitor at the senior center.
And they burst into the gym where she's just sitting on some amps, and they have this huge firefight with her where she's totally unarmed, and she pours ammonia on our good boy Beast Man and burns his face.
Just throws a bottle
totally
of
unnecessary.
On his face. Like, wow, hold on, lady. They're not
just there trying to get pets, and she is assaulting Beast Man.
But like, she leads them outside as she's running into the cardboard box construction zone next door.
Which I thought that's what they were going to do, is they were going to have like the cardboard box fight scenes, because like that's always the easiest thing to do, is like, oh, you can hit somebody in the head with a cardboard box or throw them into cardboard boxes and they can just be filled with nothing or with like feathers and stuff, and you can do all kinds of easy stunts. And it looks cheesy and stupid because they just knock all over the place because they're empty, and it looks dumb. They didn't do that.
No, they did explosions and
instead they blew everything up and burned the fucking senior center down. It rules. Like, again, every time that I think that they're setting up for something dumb, where it's like, oh, she's just going to be this stupid damsel in distress and she's going to fall for He-Man, and then they don't do it. They go into the cardboard box warehouse, and I'm like, okay, well, now it's time for her to, like, dump a pallet full of cardboard boxes on one of their heads, and they're going to be like, and act like they got hit hard. And they don't do it.
No, it's like instead He-Man finds her, hands her a gun, and says, "I got this." And then he starts like sword fighting all of them, and she blasts a couple with his laser gun.
Yeah, which is great. Like, it rules. And then when he rescues her, he's like, "All right, you're safe now." And she doesn't go like, "Ooh, wow, you're so big and muscly." She's just like, "Cool." And then like they walk off together. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, they're like, all right, you help me. What can I do?
I need to go get my friend Kevin. He has the thing you want. The key you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they just go to the plot. There's no, like...
There's logic.
Chemistry bullshit. None of that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, and I mean, I am glad, because holy shit, could you imagine Dolph Lundgren in this trying to have chemistry with someone?
Yeah.
Because, oh my god, Dolph Lundgren sucks all the charisma out of every scene.
I don't think that would work, no. But, like, Kevin's at the music store showing his friend Charlie, who owns the music store. We remember so many character names, because this is actually a good movie.
Because it's the characters are, like, real people. They feel like
Charlie is Antifa and definitely wants to take down the police.
They all do, which rules. Yeah, all three of them are like, fuck the cops.
And then they see the cops driving by and like fire trucks, like, wait, that's going to the senior center. Oh no, Julie's there. And the cop at the scene is like, because Kevin shows up, is like, hey, my girlfriend's in there. I told her to stay. Like, what the fuck, cop? Cop's like, well, somebody burned down the senior center. There's an arsonist around here, and you're saying that Julie was here? Yeah, Julie was here. Oh, really?
So it must be her and you. I'm taking you in, you piece of shit. And it's like, wait, what?
Fuck you, cop.
What the hell are you talking about? I came here to, like, worried. Why the hell are you beating me up? And it's like, yeah, perfect cop. They nailed the cop.
And so he, like, throws him in his car. And he's like, oh, what, you were talking to Charlie at the music store? Yeah, right. All right, well, here, I'll get in the car. We'll go ask Charlie, and maybe you know where Julie's house is or something, right? Like,
then I can threaten the both of you together, because I'm a piece of shit cop.
Yeah, what an asshole. So, like, he drives Kevin over to Julie's house.
Yes.
Which she inherited from her super dead parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she lives alone. And they go in, and the cop's like, hey, what the hell is that thing anyway that you've been bringing with you? Because he doesn't mention the gun synthesizer that he carries with him until that point. He's like, dude, it's just a Japanese synthesizer. Look, it plays music.
Yeah. And I love this scene because, well, it's really smart and actually kind of funny. Like, it's both. It does a good job of this setup. It's a good joke. And what it is he decides, he's like, oh man, like he still had some of the chicken and ribs that was from the fast food place that everybody went to, because they also were around that area. And so he goes to start warming some of it up, and at the same time you cut over to the villains, and they go, look, they activated the key again, we can track it. And then suddenly the microwave turns on, and they're like, wait, no, they're jamming the signal. Like, it's all scrambled and shit. And he's like, here, I'll activate countermeasures. And they start, like, beep booping, and the microwave fucking explodes.
They blow up the microwave.
The goddamn microwave.
Yeah, it's so good. And then the guy's like, all right, we've destroyed their jamming device.
Their jamming device is destroyed.
God damn it.
Now we can track them again. They can't escape us, those fools trying to use a primitive jamming device.
Oh my god. So, like, at the same time, the bounty hunters and the good boys show back up at Skeletor's because they ran away. They ran away from the cardboard construction zone. And they're like, we know where the key is, but we were surrounded. We were outnumbered. They killed us all. They were going to murder us. We had to leave. And Skeletor's like, well, you fucked up, and kills Reptile. Just straight up fucking murders him.
It just goes, get over here.
Fatality. I mean, he looks like Shao Kahn later in the movie. It's literally Mortal Kombat.
He does. There's some really good... Skeletor... We're underselling Skeletor in this movie because holy shit, every scene with him in it, he's just... He steals the scene. It's so good.
But, like, so he sends Beastman, Karg, and Leather Daddy with Evil Lyn, because Evil Lyn just had to speak up back to Earth to solve the problem of where this key is and kill He-Man. And
which I'm sure with that Evil Lyn is a character from the cartoon and stuff.
It is, yeah.
But I just have to say, I love the fact that it's like Evelyn, but it's like, we need
she's
a woman.
evil.
So Evelyn, let's just call her Evelyn. Haha, perfect, good name. Done.
She's evil.
All right,
but he also wants Evil Lyn to pick up some nuggies and a milkshake while she's out because I've heard of these Earth nuggies.
I've heard of these things they call nuggies.
Everybody on Eternia is vegetarian, so he's never had nuggies. So he needs his nugs.
And Skeletor's evil, so he doesn't care if they're nuggies.
Yeah.
Canonically, only evils eat nuggies.
But, like, the cop gets pissed at Kevin, and is like, I need to know more about this fucking key thing that you found in the cemetery. So, like, I don't know, ask Charlie. Charlie knows. He's a musician, like, music store guy. I will. And he takes the key and goes to the music store and leaves Kevin in Julie's house.
Yeah, he just takes it, and Kevin's like, what the fuck? Do you have a warrant? And he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna do what I want.
With fucking cops.
Yeah, they really hated the cops for most of this film. I kind of hate where they end up with that, which it was one of the biggest disappointments of this film for me,
But, like, so the group with Evil Lyn shows up, and nobody in this movie knows how to open a fucking door from Eternia, because they don't have doors at Eternia, so they just break them all down and blow them up and kick them in.
They just rip every door off of their hinges. Dolph Lundgren just flexes slightly and the doors crumble to dust. It's so good.
They break it down, throw him around a bit, and, like, throw a fucking collar on him with some really cool LEDs, which is a hypnosis collar that makes them tell the truth and do whatever they want. And they learned that the cop took it to the music store, so they can go there and go get it. And then they just leave after stealing a newspaper that talks about Julie's very dead parents.
She's kept a newspaper article of her parents' death with a photo of them in a box.
But, like, to be fair, Karg is very good. He's like, hey, look, I found this thing. You can use this for leverage. You can go ahead and, like, trick them with this later.
Yeah, Karg runs over to Evil Lyn and gives her this, and then he rolls over to get pets on his belly, and Evil Lyn gives him a nice, good pet. Yeah. Karg's such a good boy. Goes, good boy, Karg. Good Karg.
So, like, they save He-Man and everybody else shows up because Gwildor hotwired a car. Just stole a fucking car.
Not just hotwired it. I thought it was just hotwired, but it gets better.
Yeah, he modded it so it was no longer using gas.
These primitive assholes use gasoline. What a bunch of dummies. I've got it so that it uses jargon.
And then they just drive their stolen hot rod over to Julie's house to go save Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Gwildor. I love that guy. Well, they set it up earlier because he's a lock picker, right?
Yes.
So the way he lock picks is by hot wiring, 1950s chrome cars.
Yeah. Perfect.
But this leads to one of the best scenes, which is the music store siege.
Yeah.
I love this thing.
They go so hard with this, and they could have half-assed this so easily and just had a couple of pew laser guns and a couple of tiny little sparks. But instead, they're in the music store with He-Man and all of that crew and Kevin, and they're in the back trying to guard the key. And Evelyn and all of them show up and surround it, and the stormtrooper minion guys that work for Skeletor smash through the windows on lines like they're a fucking SWAT team as explosions rock the whole building and everything's on fire and
fire
they're getting thrown into walls,
yeah.
smashing guitars and amps and drums, and it's fucking great. It's so good.
There's it could have been boring. It could have been boring, and they made it really cool. And at the same time, the cop who was being a dick got ushered into the back room, and he's trying to wrestle a gun from Kevin and take control of the situation because he's an asshole.
Yeah, I wrote down for this, Tila says ACAB.
Yes!
Tila and He-Man and all them are sitting there, and this cop is just being such a dick. So they take his gun and they give it to Kevin, and they go, "Hey, blow his brains out if he does anything, because he's an asshole."
Yes! And then the cop tries to wrestle the gun, and the
cop's immediately an asshole. Yep.
Yeah. And at the same time, Julie sees her dead mom in the alley outside, which is from some cyberpunk movie that has it has bisexual lighting in the alley.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh man, my dead bi mom is outside."
She immediately runs outside, and her mom's just like, yeah, we've been on a secret mission for the last few years. That's what it is. And you need to give us the cool Japanese synthesizer that you really like. That's what your parents want, Julie.
That's what we want.
Julie just gets it for her, which
she just walks in and is like, "Hey, how's it going, everybody? Oh, we're wrestling over a gun." Cool.
All right.
Takes the key and leaves.
Sounds good.
Fucking, oh my god. Julie is so dumb.
She is so absolutely nonplussed about the fact that there is a, life and death struggle for a loaded gun with a police officer going on in front of her, while aliens siege the front of the store in a laser fight, and she's just having a moment with her mom. She's just out just doing her own thing. It's incredible, the tone shift of that, of just why is she not bad? There's multiple gunfights happening here, and she's just kind of all right, well, peace.
Yeah, but her dead mom wasn't real. It was just Evil Lynn dressing up as her dead mom from the newspaper article that she saw.
Where Karg found leverage,
Yup. And then she takes the key, is like, well, that was easy. And just fucking leaves.
Yeah, she has a conversation with Skeletor after that, and she's like, "These people are primitive, weak, and easily controlled." And I'm like, yes, yep, as it turns out. Accurate.
Very stupid, as it turns out. Yeah. But, okay, so...
That's one of the only times in this movie that somebody acts very dumb without reason.
Yeah, but, okay, so the Stormtroopers, Beastman, Karg, and a bunch of other folks are now attacking He-Man and our crew outside of the music shop and chasing them down the street.
Yes.
To try and get them. And Skeletor comes through a giant portal that Evil Lynn opens with the key in his huge He-Man vehicle with
his
two
He-Man
gunner
battle
seats.
array with big skulls all over it engraved, and
his whole army walks out of the portal, and then his platoon of mall cops on space segways.
Yeah, they have these tiny little hoverboards with no control scheme at all. You just you do a power squat on them, and then you fly off.
And
good.
So his power squatting mall cops fly through the air and attack He-Man and crew, and He-Man just like busts through a window and fucking shoots one, and then jumps on the hoverboard and power squats into a still frame that then moves across the screen.
Yeah. I also love that during this time, He-Man's killing all of the air centurions, I think is what they were called.
Yeah.
And he's chopping them all up with his sword, and every single time that he slices one of them, they fucking explode in a Death Star. like explosion.png every time that he touches one with his sword, which is so good. Like, they blow up. They fucking explode every time he touches them.
Oh, man. So, like, He-Man gets the key with his grappling gun again from Evil Lynn's hand and then flies off. And at the same time, Man-at-Arms, Teela, Kevin, Julie, Gwildor, I think that's it, are on top of the roof of a building, like, waiting for He-Man to come back. And they're just sitting there having a conversation about Julie's dead mom again. Like, just because, and as they're having this conversation, blurry in the background, you start seeing this red, like, background rise, and then you slowly realize, wait, that's Skeletor's vehicle in his throat, and Skeletor's just like, can this thing go up any faster? No? Okay, quiet. Shh, it'll be a surprise. Quiet,
just gonna have to make it sneak up and give him a little...
It's gotta be dramatic. And then, like, he just pops up in the chair. He's like, I'm here too, fucker.
Yeah, the whole time they're like, it's a good thing that we've gotten away from Skeletor and he'll never find us. And in the meantime, Skeletor's just like slowly rising up from the background. It's a really good comedic moment. It's really good.
He's like rising up, like, talk shit, get hit. Like, oh shit.
Skeletor has entered the chat. That Skeletor guy's a real fuck. He's a piece of shit. And Skeletor can't do shit. He's garbage. I hate Skeletor. In the meantime, Skeletor's just like...
What'd you say?
Popping up from behind. Frank Langella in his big skull mask.
God, it's so good.
It's really so
good. But, like, so he catches all of them, and then He-Man finally shows up, and as he comes up over the rooftop, he's like, oh, I made a big fucking mistake, huh?
Yep.
Just gets blasted and falls immediately.
Yeah. So they capture He-Man, and I actually... They set this up earlier, and I kind of like this, because they're like, well, just kill them all. And he goes, no. And it had set this up earlier, like, constantly. There's a lot of times where you're like, okay, like, He-Man should just be shot. They should just fucking shoot He-Man in the head, and he should be done.
Yeah.
But it actually makes sense. He's like, well, if I kill him right away, he'll be a martyr, and it'll, like, galvanize a new resistance against me. I want them crushed forever. So if I keep him as a prisoner and show that he's broken and, like, my slave, then I can rule without any resistance because they'll know not to oppose me.
He wants to break the will of the people. Yes.
Which, like, okay, that's actually a decent reason as to why they don't just ice He-Man 100 different times in this. And for them, he fries their key, destroys it, and leaves them there, and he goes, okay, well, this is a primitive, ugly little planet, and this will be your prison. He-Man will obey me if you're fine, so I'll just leave you here in prison. Who gives a shit? I don't care about you.
Right?
This planet is hell for our people because it's so primitive and backwards. They eat meat. And then they warp back to Eternia, which is like, okay, I mean,
whatever.
As far as nonsense reasons as to leave people alive, it was a pretty decent one.
Plus, he didn't want to kill them because then He-Man would go back on his... He would keep his word that he would not fight Skeletor and he would surrender.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have to kill
if
He-Man
they don't hurt them.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that makes sense.
Like, it's a decent reasoning. Like, I totally thought that was a very good line of reasoning for them to go on. It worked. I thought that was fine. It made... Skeletor sells it. I think that it's partially just because Frank Langella makes it sound believable. Like, he just does a good job of being like, no, like, I can't galvanize a resistance against me. Like, he makes it all seem plausible just with the way that he's got, like,
Yeah.
charisma and stuff about him.
Oh man. So at this point, Julie, she was poisoned by a laser blast that hit her leg.
Yeah,
You know.
So Skeletor uses his Force Lightning to laser poison her leg.
Laser poisoned her leg, so she's out of commission, and because he also hit the key is out of commission.
Yeah.
So Gwildor, Man-at-Arms, Tila, and Kevin are tasked with building and fixing the key so that they can create music that opens a portal to bring them back to Eternia.
Yeah, Gwildor has a line in here where he goes like, well, sure, going between dimensions is easy. What's the hard part is knowing the keys to get somewhere. And it's just... It's like...
Yeah.
And then he goes, and Kevin's like, I mean, I remember the notes. There's like 5. And Gwildor's like, wow, you must be the most... You're a song master. You use the power of remembering. They play fucking Simon Says. It's beep, bop, boop to fucking save the universe.
This is how Wild Stallion happened in Bill and Ted.
Wild Stallions.
Yeah, they're just like hitting random notes like, whoa, you're amazed.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, so like he remembers the tone. They get a synthesizer from the destroyed music shop, and Man-at-Arms and Tila just randomly also have gizmos that he needs to rebuild this thing because sure.
Yeah, they just take apart a bunch of technology from the music shop and from their own gear and re-rig a gigantic key electric machine thing.
And the cops who are the antagonists of this movie show back up. They're like, we need to go arrest these fuckers. There was like an army out here. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. All these fuckers need to die and also go to jail. But mostly we need to kill them because we're cops.
Yeah, Lubbock is the name of the cop. It's he keeps on calling Kevin Slacker for some reason. I don't...
he also... I think he was in Nom, is what they're trying to say, because he calls things like...
Oh, he's always like, oh, the Pinkos. It's a bunch of Pinkos that are invading. Yeah.
He's a Nom vet, dickhead cop.
Yeah.
But, like, so he shows back up as they're trying to activate the super cyber synth. And they're playing, like, you know, the intro to Stranger Things.
God, I need to know what that... Somebody send... Okay, we have our email is... roughcutscast@gmail.com. Please, if you know what...
You could just insert...
If you know what that is, fucking tell me. It's gonna kill me. I need to know.
Yeah, but they show back up and start blasting because they're cops. And Tila immediately starts shooting back because she chooses violence every time. She just goes, blam, 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 blam. And then they activate the synthesizer as that dickhead cop shows back up, like, to them to try and stop them, and the whole orb of the earth that they're standing in teleports to Eternia. Walls, half of a car, fucking
God, right?
Everything. It's so cool.
It does the Terminator thing. It's the like whole, like where it's like this perfect sphere of stuff gets teleported.
Yep.
So yeah, it just cuts through everything.
And at the same time, because Skeletor has the Sword of Grayskull, he puts it into his cyber scabbard, which goes beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop. And this activates the full moon, and he turns on his giant hologram Skeletor show button that plays a Skeletor show all over Eternia. These giant holograms.
Yeah, there's it goes. And then the curtain rises and it goes, the Skeletor show!
Skeletor. and then he uses the power of the moon to shine a ray on him by also having the power of Grayskull, which transforms him into Shao Kahn.
It's a powerful form.
And he learns laser hands that are even stronger than his last laser hand.
Yeah. And then he just keeps laser handing He-Man, and they
Yeah.
laser whip He-Man a bunch too. Well, Dolph
in
Lundgren,
a very
like,
erotic
goes,
way.
oh, ow, oh,
Yeah.
ooh, that hurts me, He-Man. I am acting.
I'm
It
He-Man.
hurts. I hurt from this thing. Oh God, my frail mortal body that is being hurt. Me, He-Man.
Yeah. So Skeletor has awful aim in his superpowered form, and
Holy shit.
and blasts the chain that was holding He-Man, where He-Man then uses that chain to like wrap a stormtrooper around it and block another shot that breaks his other chain.
Yeah.
And then he immediately goes to town on these guys, just, "Oh, I'm going to break you," if he was Arnold, but he's not Arnold, so he just goes, I'm He-Man.
God, Dolph Lundgren is so flat.
And
the best thing about this movie, I think, is that He-Man himself probably occupies like 20 minutes of film.
Yeah, that's true.
There's very little actual He-Man in Masters of the Universe. There's very little of him.
It's like the end, mostly, and a couple scenes where he's fighting things in like a cardboard box construction zone, but
like mostly he's just fighting things and he doesn't say anything. Like I'm pretty sure he has less lines than the cop does.
Oh, for sure. But like, so after the cop goes to town with a shotgun on a bunch of stormtroopers, He-Man,
he calls them all slackers and he runs in. By the way, he's Strickland from Back to the Future.
He is,
James Tolkien.
He gets to the Sword of Grayskull and pulls it out of its cyber scabbard and says, "I have the power. I'm He-Man."
God, he does it in such a... They need to, like, reverb it and stuff, and they do that for a lot of things. There's a lot of decent effects in here, or, like, cheesy effects, but cheesy effects that you wanted. Yeah. And they've got some of that here, but man, Dolph Lundgren just goes like you said, it's just, it needs to be the, "I have the power!" Like, it needs to be like a big thing. He goes like, "I have the power."
Do you want to redo that line? No, we'll fix
it. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. That's the best we're getting out of Dolph.
But then they have a final sword fight with Super Skeletor, which is basically Super Shredder, and He-Man. And at some point during the fight, they maneuver themselves over to the Death Star. and fucking Vader shows up and picks up the Emperor and throws him into the pit, which is Skeletor now.
Uh-huh. And all of his lightning zaps out as he falls away. Yeah. I'll get you, He-Man!
Yeah, I don't even. And then they save the day. And Julie and Kevin are standing there with like He-Man and Man-at-Arms and Teela and Gwildor in the throne room of Castle Grayskull, which they've now taken back control of because Evil Lyn, Beastman, and Karg are all like, "Should we help Skeletor? Let's get the hell out of here."
No, fuck Skeletor. Skeletor's an asshole.
Yeah, they just let him die and leave.
I'm not called Good Lyn, I'm Evil Lyn. Of course I'm gonna betray Skeletor.
Yeah, but like, our dickhead cop gets rewarded.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's the one thing that I really, really hated that they ended up with, because so much of it's set up and payoff, and he's such an antagonist throughout this film, and then all of a sudden, I mean, not only did they reward him, but they go like, "Here's a woman."
Ugh. But like, okay, so as they're saying their goodbyes, Man-at-Arms and He-Man are telling Julie, "Hey, don't say goodbye. Say good journey. Good journey. Good journey. Good journey, everyone.
Good journey. Good journey. Good journey. Good journey.
Hey,
good journey.
Good journey. Good journey.
Good journey. Good journey.
Good journey.
He-Man.
Man-at-Arms. He-Man. Teela. Good journey. Good journey. Good journey. They go back and forth between every character saying good journey.
They did that earlier too in a different scene when they got somewhere. Good journey, good journey, good journey, good journey, good journey.
It keeps going. That's the best part. It just keeps going.
Way too long.
And we learn that Gwildor has modified his key to also be a time machine. He's like, "Hey, I can send you back in time if you want. Do you want to go through tasks and just fuck shit up? You ever just want to go wild?"
Hey, kids, you ever thought about just going ape shit?
Yeah. Like, oh my god. And then...
And the kids go, "No, we're good."
Yeah, we're not good. But then he sends them back in time.
He does it anyways. He just ignores them.
And sends them to the day that her parents died in a horrible plane crash.
Well, the thing that I love about that is that they're like, okay, we can send you anywhere in time. And they go, nah, we're good. And then he goes, well, but your parents, here, I'm going to send you to your dead parents. He goes, oh, right, oh my God, my parents were dead. I could have saved them, right. I totally forgot about it. Right, what time machine? I guess I could have saved them, huh? Never thought about it. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Julia.
God damn it, Julie's dumb. And then they go back in time. She saves her parents by stealing their car keys and not allowing them to leave.
She just runs into the street with her car keys.
And then Kevin shows up in the street. He's like, whoa, did you save your parents? Yep. Wait, you remember? No, we really went to Eternia. That wasn't a dream.
Da da da. Wink
I
at the camera.
have the power.
And we get a Marvel Cinematic Universe post-credit scene.
Yes.
Where there's a big pool of slime at the bottom of the Death Star tunnel that they threw Skeletor down. And Frank Langella pops his head out and goes, smoking!
No, he doesn't do the mask thing. He says, I'll be back, like from Terminator.
He does, yes. He looks like the mask in this, though.
He does, yeah.
The one thing that was weird about that is that I didn't like that Skeletor is like this bone man, but with very human eyes, because that is not what Skeletor looks like.
Well, they didn't want to give him like contacts or something. I guess he probably
but it's
probably
also
in his contract.
Yeah,
his contract. Like I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Frank Langella fucking goes hard in this movie, and he was willing. I mean, they put a lot of makeup and stuff on him. When we're talking about like this being a skeleton mask, like I almost think that it would have been easier for them to do like a big rubber mask and just black the eyes out and stuff. You know what I mean? Like do like basically a Halloween mask helmet kind of thing. And instead, like they mask him up so he can still move and act and. Do you know what I mean?
He has a lot of prosthetics, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so he can still do a lot of facial expressions and stuff, which is, honestly, the more that I think about it, it was probably the better choice, but it's just, I expected it to be like a helmet kind of thing, just cheap and cheesy and easy, but no, he kind of goes for it. There was a thing that I looked up after this, too, where like everybody said Frank Langella is like the one great thing in this movie. 4-time Tony Award-winning, Academy Award-winning Frank Langella. Like it's totally the Street Fighter thing with Raul Julia, but he goes hard in this, and he even said he's like, God, this is one of my favorite movies to make. I went so hard for it, and it was super fun. It's cheesy and stupid, and I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, it has heart. That's what sells it, is because Frank Langella actually gives a shit, and he just he goes so damn hard in this movie.
Oh man,
Skeletor steals every damn scene he's in.
He really does. Let's rate the dogs. I think we're at a good point to rate the dogs. Right?
We're at a very good point to rate the dogs.
Let's talk about Beastman. So Beastman is a wolf man who's really good at breaking down doors,
beating up janitors, old janitors especially. Yep.
Yeah, especially if they're decrepit. He's like a pretty good boy. Maybe like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
I feel like he could have put a little bit more effort. Would have been nice, but he tried.
Yeah. Beastman's kind of just a big just a big bulldog. He's just an attack dog. He's constantly choosing violence, which actually is making him sound cooler. So I'm gonna give him a 10 out of 10 now too. But he doesn't do much but violence. Beastman don't talk much.
We have Karg, who rolls over on his belly and gets pets. And
Karg gets all the best pets with Skeletor, leans over and he's just like, oh, good boy, Karg, good boy. You like your tummy rubs? Karg? Oh, good boy. I'll kill Reptile, but I won't kill you, Karg.
I love you. Best. You're my favorite. And then like he like brings up a newspaper in his mouth to Evil Lynn. He was like,
when he finds
I found this newspaper. I found this newspaper. You could use this. What a good boy.
Karg sniffs out leverage like a good boy. He's Karg is a solid 12 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree, 12. Yeah. And then we have Gwildor, who hotwires cars, wears cool Hawaiian shirts.
Oh, God, yeah, wears a disguise to look like the rest of us, and he's just...
Steals chicken, and, like...
snots out of his gill slits onto He-Man and Teela.
And, yeah, Teela. Like, man, Gwildor is such a good boy.
Pours sauce down his gullet by the gallon.
And more importantly, he refuses to work with fascists.
Oh God, yeah, he hates the cop. He's great.
He hates the cop, and he refuses to work with Skeletor.
And he loves music.
Yeah.
He's a fucking punk rock dog. Gwilder is the best.
Like a 13 out of 10.
Easy.
Yeah.
I might go 14. Gwilder is
Woo!
I don't know. Gwilder,
Woo!
like I said, Gwilder embodies that punk rock dog lifestyle, and I appreciate it.
That was Masters of the Universe.
That was Masters of the Universe. This is a good movie.
I like this movie.
This movie is legitimately, like, looking at people talking about this, they call it boring. And I mean, it's cheesy and weird and kind of stupid in parts. But it's not boring.
No.
There's nothing boring about this movie. It's wild and dumb, but it's not boring. I don't understand why anybody would call this movie boring. And
Well,
honestly, it's less stupid than you think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few really good moments of acting. Like the person that plays Tila is really good. Evil Lynn is quite good. Like obviously Skeletor is fantastic.
I think Tila is Courtney Cox. I think.
Yes.
From like Friends. That one.
Yes. That is correct.
Yeah.
You are. That is 100% accurate. That is not a joke. That's no. We're not joking. That's real. That's
just real.
That's just the thing.
Because then, like, every time she shows up on screen, it does the Friends theme, and then it goes. Ooh, ah.
Yeah. Well, and Kevin, the punk rock boyfriend, plays Tom Paris on Star Trek Voyager.
That makes sense.
Yep. He's Lieutenant Tom Paris. So he's actually been in a few things. He was in the TV show Chuck and a bunch of stuff like that. Like, a lot of these people are actually good actors, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them a lot. It's stupid and weird, and it's exactly what you think it is. If you've ever watched movies like Crawl, or if you're a fan of like that very 80s aesthetic, or, like I said, like wizards spray painted on vans. Even
if you like schlock, like You're the Hunter from the Future.
Like,
it's that type of schlock.
Exactly, and it's a really good version of it. It's very much Crawl, or like if you liked video games like Wizardry and Might and Magic, or like for books like the Dragon Rider of Pern and the Warlock books, where it's just barbarians but across the galaxy riding spaceships and shit, and it's great. It's really good. It's cheesy and weird, but it's exactly the cheesy and weird that if you see the cover of it and you see He-Man holding up his space sword and blaster, and you're like, oh, that's kind of intriguing, you'll enjoy it. Like, you'll instantly be in, because it is exactly what it sells you on the cover.
Good journey.
Good journey. Good journey. Good journey. Good journey. Good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey. Say the line.
Yes. I feel the universe within me.
I've heard that in
Say the line.
I Feel the Universe. That's from Katamari.
It is.
I feel the universe inside me.
Of what consequence are you now?